Ahead of the polls, much expectation in the horizon. The power team is perceived by many as a conglomeration and agglomeration of intellectuals, people of like minds. What were the parameters considered in assembling the candidates of the power team? DG.
Okay, the NUJ, as we have identified that the union is sick, particularly under the present leadership, and we carried out our own journalistic analysis to discover that the union is actually sick, and once a person is sick, that person cannot function optimally, and we need to treat that patient, and we need to administer the right drugs so that that ailment can be assuaged. So now we came together prayerfully, because the power team is divine. The word power, of course, you know what power is. You cannot do anything except God empowers your spirit to do it. And that is what we are, because we love the union and we don't want the union to go down the drains. So we have come together and formed the power team. And that team, we have just the 5 doses to give. P stands for professionalism, O stands for openness, W stands for welfareism, E stands for engagement, and R for resourcefulness. And we believe too well that once we inject this power into the sick NUJ, to begin to receive life gradually. For the next 3 years, these things will be injected into it. Because we discovered first that professionalism was lacking. Openness was also lacking. There was no welfareism, there was no engagement. Government is our biggest stakeholder. The press center we have today was built by the state government. We didn't contribute any money. And if you go across the entire state, and I bet you even Nigeria, hardly government builds press centers or secretariat for other unions. They build it themselves. But the government, because of the role that we play in the society as the fourth estate of the realm, decided to put that project for us so that we can have a house, a place where we can converge to advance the policies and programs of the state government. But today, it is not so. Is it proper to now fight the finger that feeds you? No. We have to collaborate with government and other stakeholders to move our state forward, because we play a very great role. If a doctor makes a mistake, a patient will die. But if a journalist makes a mistake, an entire city can burn down. If I come out and I say, for example, now, I saw IPOB boys, they entered into this town and they destroyed that key person. For you will see reactions that you may not be able to phantom. Then R is for resourcefulness. Everybody is tilting towards other sources of what? Generating income. But as present leadership, nothing of such. We have a press center that we can use to generate revenue to enhance the welfare of members. We are not doing that at all. So when we come on board by God's grace with the able leadership of Community Church Oyowe, we're going in for chairman, Comrade Felix Eku for vice chairman, Comrade Victor Soroku for secretary, Comrade Josephine Omodio for assistant secretary, and Comrade Carol Ubini for treasurer. These 5 persons together with other ESCO members will ensure that the union is resurrected from the particular death state that it is now. And we cannot do this alone. We need the collaboration of all our members. We have 16 chapters, and we've been going around all the chapters soliciting and begging for their votes. We don't have any other way of winning elections. All we want is genuine elections. Let members come and vote. But we have come to sell out our programs to them. And these things will help our union to grow better, for us to have respect, to have recognition. The way we are now, government does not actually recognize, does give us our due respect. Why? Because of the leadership. Once they say journalists come in, we are too beggarly or something. So once we are able to put this power into place, inject the power drug into the NUJ, we will jack back to life and begin to take back our union. And what we are fighting for is to take back our union for those who think that want to use the union as Bet Nigeria just to cash out. To make money, when money comes, they just share it and everybody goes his own way. And then they gather, drink pepper soup, drink buy beer, and then no, it is beyond that. The world is moving forward. People are going to space. People are making inventions. How can we remain like this? If we should keep our mouth shut, then it is a problem. But don't also forget that the company you keep determines what accompany you. So the leadership we have, that is why what we are having, we are seeing it. But once we have the right leadership in place, we begin to attract. We will not be like a magnet. We're going to attract good leadership. We're going to attract resourcefulness. We're going to attract professionalism, openness, and the rest. The present leadership is not open to us. It's not open to the union. You ought to be accountable to the people, and that is what Church Oyowe stands for, and that's why we are behind him, solidly behind him, and soliciting the vote of all members of union from across the 16 chapters to please come, rally support for us, and ensure that we entrench a new leadership that will have respect, the recognition. Because if you go to someone and say, "Who is your chairman?" you point at somebody, "This is your chairman." No, that will just demean the personality of the union. When it's a Church Oyowe, the name rings what a bell as somebody who has the capacity, who has the character, who has the competence, and who has the wherewithal to carry on the onerous task of becoming the #1 journalist in Delta State.
Speaking of individual integrity and the obvious responsibilities the fourth estate of the realm is saddled with, the journalist has the responsibility of watching what the politician is doing and much more the society. And politics, the way it is being perceived, places added layer. Let me come more direct, DG. What are the specific character perception you have of the individual candidates that make up the power team?
Okay, the power team, as you see, we have Churchill Oyowe, who is vying for the position of chairman. He has served at the chapel level. He has also served at the state level as 2-time secretary. These are positions of trust and authority. Not just everybody can become the secretary or a chairman of a union. Because when you are contesting an election in-house, your people must evaluate you. They know you. He has been a chairman of the State Information Chapel twice. He has also served at the State Council. And when he served, we saw the progress in the NUJ before things began to dwindle. When we talk about character, competence, integrity, he has all it takes. As he is now, he's a family man, well-respected family man. If he tells you to come to my house, he has an address that you can locate him. If he leaves the office, now either it's in church or it's in the house, call him, you can go to his house. But the others, we don't even know the address. We don't even know where they reside. How can we entrust power onto them? Talking about the vice chairman, of course, is a renowned journalist. He works with DRTV Warri. That name, Felix Eku, rings a bell. What about the person of Victor Soroku? He has also been secretary of Correspondence Chapel and also chairman of that very chapel. That's one of the very big chapels we have also in, Asaba. Then talking about Josephine Omodion, of course, she was the vice chairman and immediate past secretary of Indigenous Correspondence Chapel. And Caroline Ubini, she was one-time auditor, she was one-time assistant secretary, and she is the immediate past secretary of the NUJ DBS Asaba Chapel. So we have assembled all of these because I was just learned of recent that a Toyota car, a Peugeot 504 contains 3,000 components. But sometimes when you look at it with the eyes like this, you will just see maybe the doors, tires, and the rest. We have assembled this particular team. They have depth, they have graphs, they have the experience that we need. So they will not learn on the job. Once they are sworn in, they will hit the ground running immediately. And with our support, the union will fly very high. We have no fear or no doubt about the competence and the character of these persons we are projecting.
I will come back to you, DG. Let's come to you, Ma'am Florence, the Deputy DG. Interestingly, the two principal candidates in the contest are members of your chapel. If my records are serving me right, you were active in the last NUJ election, a member of the caretaker committee. But let's look at the two chairmanship candidates whom you share close affinity with, work and chapel. What informed your choice of Comrade Churchill Oyowe and the power team, if I may ask?
Thank you very much for that question. I sat down and I looked critically at these two candidates. All of us are of the State Information Chapel. But like they're rightly saying, like a mother knows all the capacity of her children. In your house, you know a child that you will send on a particular errand. You know the one who cannot function well on another particular errand. So what informed my choice of Churchill is that in this present dispensation, what we are looking for now, because of what is on ground at the Delta State NUJ, it is what Churchill carries, his character, his sense of purpose, his responsibility, his articulation, his professionalism, his openness. Those are the qualities we are looking for in the leadership of Delta State NUJ, and Churchill possesses these qualities and more. I know both of them very well. We are all colleagues. We are all brethren. But as it is right now, I am not sentimental about my choice. I'm very, very practical. On the issue on ground, on the matter on ground, Churchill is the best candidate for the job. And that is why I am standing with him, I am standing for him, and I am standing by him.
In the last NUJ elections, you had the prize and the redemption teams. We have observed that there appears to be some realignments, but let's create a bypass. Your principal in the power team, Comrade Churchill Oyowe, he is perceived in some quarters to be socially unavailable. As someone who I believe you know at a modest close level, how would you react to that?
Churchill is a thoroughbred professional. And when you work with professionals, they are almost like perfectionists. They want the work done as at when due and how it ought to be. We are information managers, for crying out loud. So if you don't have a disciplined person at the helm of affairs, what are you talking about? In anything you do, if discipline is not applied, even to self, if discipline is not applied, you definitely will get it wrong. When a professional is working, you will know that yes, a professional is on board because he does things as it ought to be done. No sentiments, no unnecessary frivolities. You just hit the nail on the head and you produce. We see results. It's result oriented. That is part of the gains of professionalism. So people talking about being too disciplined, is being a disciplinarian. You ought to be a disciplinarian. Even as a mother, as a father, you ought to be a disciplinarian. Then when you have discipline, you can now drop back the child in love and correct in love and say, yes, I disciplined you. This is why I did this. It's for your own good. Most of those things are even for our own good, because when you are working and nobody is there to guide you aright, nobody is there to tell you that no, don't do it this way, do it that way. That is you are set up for destruction. You are set up for failure. But when your principal is there, the man is telling you, say, yes, you do it this way, you do it this way, then you are setting yourself up for success. So the man is a thoroughbred professional, and when you know professionals that are thoroughbred, they are no nonsense people. The job comes first.
Comrade Pere, in our earlier conversation, you did speak to the reputation and character of Mr. Churchill Oyowe and his dedication to duty. One area people pay attention to is in an association, which includes the NUJ, is socializing and social integration. You cannot deny the essence of that and how much people are inclined to unwind, relax, and find reading and peace within self. Some people have the impression that your principal is almost indisposed to social integration. How much of that do you know about him?
Well, and that actually is a wrong exception. Somebody who has gone to primary, secondary, and tertiary, and as well as postgraduate, he must have met a lot of persons and also interacted at that particular level. As journalists, if you go across the country, you will discover that we have press centers in each of the states, either a permanent one or a temporary one. And the press center is a melting point for all journalists in the state, where they converge on a daily basis to discuss. In Delta, for example, now we have close to 500 registered and qualified journalists. But if you go to our press center now, take the statistics of people who come there, not more than 10 journalists for a week will come there. They no longer believe. Those people who say they associate, they relate well, they drink and eat together, but yet are unable to attract other members of the union because they have turned it into a clique thing. And it's supposed to be a union thing. So let a person see the presenter and they go away. Churchill Oyowe coming on board, it will ensure that everybody is brought what? On board. We will relate well, eat well, drink together, and also share progressive ideas on how to enhance our job as journalists and how to also enhance our lives. Because we are all working to make progress in life. If you are not making progress, you'll be called to question. But in terms of relationship with people, he has a firm relationship. One day, a non-reporter asked Victor Oche when he was speaker of the House of Assembly, while we were having a press briefing, he said, Mr. Speaker, sir, is it true that you are very proud And when he was replying, he said, don't mind those people who say I'm proud. Those people who say are proud, they are afraid of competence. They are afraid of character and what? Integrity. They just use that word pride to want to run away from me because they know I'm a hard worker. I want the best. I will squeeze the best out of you. So that's why they use that term. He's proud, he's arrogant. It is not like that. He's doing a job. He has not been found wanting on his job. Give him a task, he will accomplish his task. So that is how it is. You're coming on board, will relate well. He will relate with everybody. Everybody, and you see that the press center will begin to bubble again. The press center is not far from the state secretariat, where we have the biggest chapel, state information chapel. Ask them, go around and ask them. They have over 100 members. Ask them how many of them go there. It's a walkable distance from the state ministry, the headquarters. It's a walkable distance. But how many of them go there to unwind? But when church comes on board, you still discover that if you have not gone there for a day, you'll be missing something because there'll be activities that will attract journalists into that place on a daily basis.
Mr. Churchill, if you don't mind, let me into your antecedent and experience in the union that you consider prepared you for this atmosphere you're seeking.
I am one-time chairman of the Information Chapel before it was split into two, States and Field Information Chapel. I am two-time secretary of the State Council of the NUJ, and I have been on this race since 2017, looking for how I could serve my people and serve them well. In 2017, I contested, but I had to drop somewhere along the line when there was an allegation that the former governor of Delta State, Dr. Emmanuel Odwan, gave me 6 million naira, beg your pardon. And the scandal became so wide that he gave me that money so that when I become the chairman, I would destabilize the Okowa government. And so many people bought into that. And at the end of the day, some of my strong supporters advised that I should step down for that position. Rather, I should go for a second term as secretary, which I did. And what happened, the person that was supposed to run for secretary now came up as the chairman, who is today our chairman and outgoing chairman, in the person of Comrade Michael Ikogu. So, but not without going into an arrangement that he will stay for one term. So when he exhausted that one term, as humans, we always ask for more, Oliver Twist. He said the agreement was null and void. It was against his constitutional rights. I said, well, you are correct to that extent, but somebody who has integrity will not renege on agreements. But in that case, I will want to run for the vice, since that is the next position for me. But he made it clear that he had another person in mind, which is Salvation Ogono, to run for the vice chairman, and I should slug it out with him. I said no. Instead of me slugging it out with Salvation Ogono to be vice, I will slug it out with you if there's no provision there. That was how we ended up running in 2020, and we all know the outcome of that election. It was an election that was manipulated somehow, and we have gotten revelations that it was indeed manipulated. But it was manipulated to actually make Mike Ikogu work for a purpose which he could not, because of his, I don't know, he could not work for that purpose, and disappointed the people who brought him in. If I had not worked, if I had not been given that opportunity to come in, and if I had become the chairman, I am very sure I would have served the interest of our members well. The interest of our members is not being served because Mike Ikogu does not understand what it means to engage stakeholders, government being one of our major stakeholders. Rather, we as journalists in Delta State are suffering because he failed to meaningfully and gainfully engage our stakeholders, government being one of them. So I am here again, 2023, vying for the same position. thankfully, it's from somebody I'm vying against. It's from my own chapel, and it's a straight fight. So I've presented myself before stakeholders. We have gone around all the chapels, and we believe that we have presented our strong point before our various chapel members and leadership, believing that at the end of the day, superior ideas will win the day.
Having participated in an election that was keenly contested and the obvious anomalies witnessed in that election, in some quarters, people had expected that you would challenge the outcome of that election, probably go to court to seek redress. Lead me into the workings of your mind that made you see and do different.
Well, you see, the fulcrum of my aspiration was to serve my people, fellow journalists in Delta State. And there's also a provision in our constitution that forbids us from going to court, except when you have exhausted all means of mediation. I didn't see it from that perspective. I saw it as an opportunity for Mike to prove himself, since I could not make it, so that at the end of the day, what I was not given a chance to do, he could do it. I did not go to court because it was not necessary. It was not necessary for me to go to court. I just felt that it must not be me. If he is given the opportunity, I know that there will be another time for me to be. So, but unfortunately, he could not make the best out of that opportunity given to him. So, and now another opportunity has presented itself. I started preparing after that day for this moment that we are now. I said, come what may, I will get it. If not, then settling now. And we have gone around. Most of those people didn't believe in me, thinking that I will go to court. They are not believing in me. They now saw that I have what it takes to really be in leadership position. Those who did not vote for me the last time, they are now with me. They now saw that I possess what it takes to lead. So it is not about me per se. If it's not me, it can be any other person. As at that time, that was why I didn't go to court. I didn't see the need for it, because it's our one union, and whatever that takes you to court means that you are dragging the union backward. And I just felt it was not necessary to drag the union backward.
That's it. Speaking to your DG, Comrade Botu, earlier, he gave this oration on what the power team stands for. You cannot now deny that you are a politician. You are soliciting for votes. You are seeking to represent a people. Oftentimes, we see politicians say so much, promise so much, but deliver less than nothing in most cases. What in your antecedent is giving you the confidence that you will do the things you said you will do? And why should we trust you, a politician?
Well, I have always believed in results. I don't just talk. I talk what is achievable. I'm a Christian, and I believe in the Bible. The Bible is virtually what we need to rule the world. If you can see in the Bible, follow what is in the Bible, then this world will be a better place for all of us. The Bible says, as far as your eyes can see, that is what you can achieve. We have seen that it's possible for us to have a journalist village. We have seen that it's possible for us to have a radio house. We have seen that it's possible for us to have facilities in that journalist village. And we have also seen that it's possible for us to rotate our congresses. We have seen that it's possible for our secretariat to be lighted via solar-powered panels and batteries and inverters. We don't necessarily need to wait for government. If you look at that place, at night it's like a graveyard. Do you go to kill boredom in a graveyard? No. That's why a lot of people are not going there. But we know that with the leadership mentality that some of us have, with the content, ideas that some of us have, we believe that we can change the narrative. And it is not like rocket science. Acquiring hectares of land is not rocket science. In fact, we have the blueprints. We are already meeting stakeholders who could give us hectares of land for our members. There we will now be in business also. And I don't know, people said all these are bogus ideas. How can it be bogus when it's possible with others? If it's possible with others, why can't it be possible with us? So it is the limitation of their mindsets, of their mentality, that is making them to see our vision as bogus. Because in the book of Habakkuk 2:2, he said, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain on tables, so that he that runneth may read it. That is the vision we have for the Delta State journalist. Power, the power concept of professionalism, of openness, of welfareism, of engagement, meaningful engagement, and of resourcefulness. So we have looked at it that this is what Delta State needs at this material time, and it is feasible, it is possible, and it is achievable. So we are not just talking because we want to impress people or because we want to win elections. We are talking because we have a pain in our hearts that we need that platform, we need power to achieve this power concept, to make it come to fruition. So it's possible. It's not a bogus idea, but it's achievable.